What up?
What's up?
Let's
Hey.
go.
Let's go. We wanted to welcome the Brisket Broads to the show today. What's good?
Hey,
Everything. Everything's
Yeah.
great. We're glad to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot to fully dress up here. Hang on.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I didn't
Now
even
we're-
recognize you. Like,
I was
who
feeling
is
a little naked for a second. Yeah.
Good one, Kyle. Good one.
Yeah.
So Brisket Broads, didn't you have like a song or anything you want to like bring in? Because I know you're pretty musically inclined.
We usually
some-
don't do that live, though.
Oh.
We don't have a
Oh man, I'm putting you on the spot, I guess.
Yeah.
Good show,
We should
huh?
hear you guys attempt to sing our song.
Oh gosh, you don't want to hear that.
Shoot.
I don't
You
have
have
a
a
bottle
song?
or anything. The little woo woo thing. I don't have that. That really works out well with this.
You need you need a bottle?
Oh, kind of.
Hey!
It kind of does, yeah.
No, it doesn't.
We drank all of our Topo Chicos. We have to walk to the grocery store through the snow again to get more. So
Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
What
so tell everybody where you're at right now.
we're in Tahoe
Hey man.
All
And
at my
snowed in.
parents' house. Yeah.
How many feet of snow is out there right now?
I can't count that high.
Jeez. Oh, you got
Way
straight
up.
up the
It's the same level as us when we walk outside. Like,
Oh
London,
my
there's
gosh.
paths to walk through, but
yeah.
it's kind of insane.
But
I
then
think-
you
I
look
think,
up at the roofs and see all the snow on top and just hope it doesn't fall on you and kill you.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, hey, well, you know what? At least you can try to keep out the White Walkers, you know. So like you know,
Ooh.
like
There you go, there you go.
the wall is forming. So
Like it.
Smart.
yeah.
Like it. Like it. Jon Snow's out there then, apparently. That's good.
Yep.
Yeah, watch out for the icicles. They're deadly. They're deadly.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Was that like a-
scary.
A reference from Christmas Story or
Story
something?
there?
Story.
Yeah.
Hitting the eye with an icicle there.
Yeah, the icicle ricocheted and hit my eyeball. You know.
Even the snowflakes are dangerous. Yesterday it was snowing, so we're like looking up to try and watch them, and then they hit you in the eye, and
Oh,
like I'm gonna get frostbite on my cornea.
Oh,
dang.
that's not good.
Don't want
Yeah.
Frozen
Be
eyeballs.
careful out there.
that. Hey, shoot.
Gotta wear snow goggles the whole time. At
You
least.
gotta get those glasses that Kyle has.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
Oh, you know what?
There you
I
go.
can send you out some. I got a couple. You know. So yeah.
Yeah, we got a bunch. We'll hook you up.
Yep.
We'll hook you up.
Oh,
Hey.
here comes my dad. Show
Oh,
him.
okay.
There he is.
Oh, he's like, hey,
What
Hey.
up?
hey,
Hi,
what's
Dad.
good?
Brisket
Broad, huh?
Oh, love it. Oh my gosh, I want one of those hats so bad.
That is killer.
Yes.
I gotta
Oh.
get one of them hats. That's
Okay, we'll do a
legit.
trade. We'll do a trade. We'll give you some glasses. Actually, we got some hats too. I don't know if you see James and Andrew's got a hat on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
well,
awesome.
yeah, we'll give you glasses or a hat, and you'll give us a hat too. Let's do it. Yeah.
You got it.
Or-
we love
or-
trades.
You can make us those hollyhocks as well, and we'll wear those
You
as well.
got it.
Yes.
Ah.
That's what I'm working on. I'm using my mom's sewing machine, so
Oh.
I got a lot. Yeah, I gotta get
Nice.
to work.
I
You got
like it.
time right now. You got
Yeah, we-
time.
Yeah.
In the house.
We gotta prepare. We got a whole couple months to prepare.
Yeah,
That's what the off season's for.
Yes.
the off
Yeah, I
season
love it.
for making weird hats.
Yes.
Dude. Well,
Love
hey, Brisket Broads, Heather and Mary,
James.
tell us about your guys' channels, everything. Tell us
Yeah,
about what's up.
yeah.
What's
we
up?
finally
Yeah.
made a real YouTube channel, but we probably need like a boss or something to give us deadlines to make us actually finish the videos.
It's really hard when you're just doing it of your own accord.
Yeah, and you're like, do I really want to like edit this video?
Yeah.
I'll just
Uh.
watch a rerun of Ted Lasso instead, you know. But we do have the intention of having some more videos down the pike. So all y'all out there, keep your eyes peeled, but don't hold your breath.
You'll get it when you get it, right?
That's right.
Yeah. It's like
Very
the wait, anticipation makes it better or something. Maybe.
I like it.
I'm gonna make sure. What's the channel called? Let's subscribe to it right now. Yeah. just
Oh,
drop it in.
nice. It's
Yeah.
called Brisket Broads.
Simple
Brisket
as
Broads.
that.
Oh, that
Simple as that, Kyle.
Okay, where's
Can you
the
believe-
easy button? Yeah.
Called the Brisket Broads.
That handle
Yeah.
wasn't taken. I can't.
Yeah.
believe it.
There we
Yeah.
go. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, we did. We've recorded a review of the 2022 season, so we just have to edit it and upload
Sweet.
it. So
That's
Okay.
amazing.
Legit.
Good.
Legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that didn't make the Charger Chat segment episode, some of the things that we thought maybe were too inappropriate. Even
Too
my
risque.
even my mom was like, I don't know if you should tell those stories, but we're doing it. We're telling some of the stories.
We went to a lot of games and a lot of weird things
Ooh.
happen.
It's going to be an expose. I enjoy that. That's great. Give us all the spicy details. We like that.
Yeah. You know, sometimes alcohol doesn't bring out the best in people.
Yeah.
It doesn't bring out the best in anyone. That's for sure.
Yep.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about your guys' 2022 season, because you guys, a lot of people are envious of what you guys did for 2022.
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
still kind of can't believe it. That it happened.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable to be able to go out and see so many different stadiums, see the Chargers anywhere and everywhere, ending in Jacksonville, which is
Yeah.
still stinging,
Oh.
hurting my heart
Oh.
even
Yeah.
more so. But just tell us a little bit about what you did for 2022, for all the folks that don't know about what you guys did for 2022 and such.
Yeah. Well, 2021 was our first ever live Chargers game. So we got obsessed with them over like 2019, 2020. That's when we were like, this is our team. And so we were like, what are we doing? We have to see these guys live. So that was our Christmas present to ourselves and to my parents. We brought them and we were like in the front row. Well, I guess second row, but we were very close. And so then once you get that bug of being at a live game and being that close, you're like, I want to be at every single game.
Yeah.
So that's what happened after that. Then we were like, should we do it? Should we get season tickets? And they're like, yes, let's do it. And then we're like, should we try and go to like every away game as well? And we're like, let's do it. So
Let's go.
Yeah.
I travel for a living, so we're kind of always on the move anyways. So might as well try.
Yeah.
Making a couple different extra routes and you get to go to games and enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's killer. That's like pretty much everybody's dream, by the way. So you guys must be
really
billionaires or something. So that's
No,
pretty good.
we're just older than we look. So that's the thing, you know, when people are like, oh, I'm envious. It's like, well, when you're in your mid 30s and you haven't found the man you want to marry, so you have no kids, so you have a lot of expendable income, right? Like kids are expensive, homes are expensive. So if you don't have either of those things, you actually can have a lot more money to go to football games. So
No doubt.
you know,
No
you
doubt.
just have to choose what you want.
Yeah. I chose to lose all my money in crypto. That was pretty exciting.
Oh,
So,
And that was your
Bitcoin, boys and girls, Bitcoin coming back.
Oh yeah. And I chose to dump all my money into this channel. So yeah.
It's still
It's a
paying
longer
off.
payoff.
Yeah, it's a longer payout. Yeah. So
Long road. Well, I did want to kind of bring up something. We Brisket Broads and the Bolt Bros go way back, by the way.
You guys were the first people we met, like at training camp. We were the first like diehard fans that we met. We stood right next to you guys.
And bam.
Oh,
here we go.
Pictures to commemorate that. Yeah.
Yep.
Look at those babies.
Not even a year ago, but yeah, you know, it was really cool. I mean, I remember when we walked in, we saw you and we're like, wow, those girls are really dedicated, like full blown outfits, like kind of a rare circumstance to see this. And then we chatted with you and everything. Second day I was there just hanging out with you guys. It's funny. After I left day 2, I went to this delicious ramen spot just right around the corner, which I was going to invite you, but then you guys were like, oh, I'm going to Disneyland. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Do your thing. But next time when you're at training camp, we all got to go to this delicious ramen spot right around the corner. It's one of the best.
We're down.
I dream about it. My wife even says, hey, well, let's just fly out there for a date night to go have ramen and then fly back. And I'm like, down, no problem.
Down. Then we'll have to take you to this Cuban restaurant that we also found that was over there. That's really good.
Love Cuban.
Yeah, Andrew and I, last time I was in LA, we went to a Cuban spot out there too, out in Torrance, where, well, Kyle used to live there. And then my sister, or our sister, lives out there. So we love Cuban food. Cubanos all day. All day. All day.
My oldest brother lives in Torrance.
Oh, shut up.
No kidding.
So sometimes we park our van in his driveway and then just take an Uber to the stadium.
Dang.
What?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because I lived there for like 12 years in Torrance. Kyle lived with me, and then my sister still lives out in Torrance. So wow. Small world.
Small world.
Small world.
Hey James, can you
Awesome.
bring up that picture again? I'm kind of confused about my do-rag I got right here. I was right in the middle. I'm like, I don't remember wearing a do-rag.
No, I remember that.
I
It was-
remember because I didn't have a hat and I was getting
Yeah.
all sunburned, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh my
God.
God, I got to put
That's
something
a
on my
bonnet.
head. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Well, the bonnet, he still would have gotten sunburned
Yeah,
because there's a
that's
big
true.
hole.
Yeah.
He just would've had
That's
this
so funny.
feeling.
Oh my
You got to
God.
combine the do-rag with the bonnet. I think
There you
that's
go.
Ooh.
Yep.
That's a
the next
winning.
level.
That's a
There you
winning
go.
combination.
Well, see
I love it.
that's kind of what I did right there. Is that like I had the a do rag too, but I put it in my hat so it protected
Oh.
my neck. Yeah. So
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
I
got
kept it
delicate
simple with a hat,
skin.
guys.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
want to. I didn't want to get too elaborate with it. To me, it's not that hot out there because I'm used to Arizona summer, so
Yeah.
that was like spring weather for me out there, where I was like, yeah,
Sure.
whatever. It's like 90 degrees, no big deal. It's not
Yeah.
hot, so I wasn't even tripping. It was great.
Yeah.
But it was very
so
fun to
hot.
meet with you out there,
Yeah.
and it's been awesome to be able to see you at games, tailgates, and everything. It's been awesome to see you guys on the Jumbotron or whatever, the Oculus or whatnot too, constantly. But
Yeah.
these are celebrities, by the way. We are chatting with. So
Wait,
Yeah.
where? You guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
no,
you guys
no,
know
you,
forget it.
no, Brisket Broads.
No,
Heather
you.
Mary.
No, you.
I don't think so.
Nice.
Oh man, but great to have you guys on the show and everything. We're excited about it. So I don't know if you guys want to jump into it a little bit. Is there anything else you guys want to cover? Anything, Kyle? I don't know if there's some events. Actually, you went to an event recently this week, right?
It was actually last Saturday.
Last
Yeah,
Saturday, okay.
it was not this past one, but the one before that. It was the charity event for the Bolt community crew.
Yeah.
We were at the what's it called? East Valley Animal Shelter, and like we put together a whole bunch of stuff like fleece blankets for the animals, and like beds for them in the their kennels, and little dog treats and little gift bags, and so like and basically it was a whole event hosted by the Chargers, but then they got in like Lazy Dog and other businesses to kind of be part of it as well. And what they would do is they would waive all the fees for the adoptions of the animals that day.
Oh.
And yeah, like the Chargers actually created a artificial turf field for the dogs to play in to get their playtime in and not just be locked up in a kennel all day.
Yeah.
And because like beforehand, like that play yard was like a dirt lot and it would get all muddy and like gross and stuff during rain times, but now that's artificial turf, they're not going to have that problem. So it was very cool. Jen Mills was there, and a couple of group people from Die Hard Bolt Club, Ventura were there. Yeah, it was really awesome. And then I actually snuck into after I did all that stuff. Some of the Chargers were there. Josh Palmer was there. Josh Harris was there, and Larry English, one of the linebackers from back in the day, was there. So yeah, it was awesome. I got to meet him, chat with them a little bit, and yeah, they're really good times. And so, just so you guys know, we actually might be helping out Larry English with his stuff with the Chargers, one of these days as well. So
Cool.
yeah,
Very cool.
How
It'll be
do
cool.
you find out about this stuff? Like, how did you find out that they were doing this event?
Yeah, so you can sign up to the Bolts community crew at any point. It's I can drop the website in the link here in the chat. But yeah, you can go there and they have events like all the time. Like coming up this weekend actually, the 18th, there is a food bank drive down in Orange County, I think it is. So yeah, so if anyone wants to do that, you can actually sign up, and you have to go to Ross. Like I said, I'll put the link in there, and you can sign up there. And when you do it, then there's players might show up there, and you get to talk to them and hang out. And but also it's a good cause to do some service and stuff. So I really liked it. I really had a good time just meeting people, just talking with them, and doing a good thing.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
that's awesome. That's really awesome. Brisket Broad should show up to those things too.
Yeah.
You get that extra coverage.
Well, we just watched about, because when we're just chilling at home, sometimes we go on YouTube and just search Chargers and anything that comes up. So we saw like the news report about it with Chris Hayre talking about the thing. So we saw the turf.
Yeah, we're like, why didn't they put in real grass? Poor dog's gonna tear their
Yeah.
ACL.
Yeah, those dogs are gonna get hurt. They need to put real grass, not turf.
That's what they're doing.
Oh, that's so true though, right?
Little
Yeah.
SoFi reference there, huh?
Yep.
Is that what you got to say?
Yep.
Blow out a couple
Maybe
knees.
they could take the turf from SoFi and give it to the dogs, and we can get real grass.
That's actually a pretty good idea. That's a
Yep.
pretty good idea. That real
Win-win.
grass, pull out that artificial junk. I get it. Good idea.
Yep.
Just an idea.
Love it. I love it. Man, that's awesome. Well, that sounds like a great event all around, Kyle. That's
Yeah, it was
pretty
very fun.
amazing to be able to be out there for that and such too. So good times. Free agency. You guys want to get into that and start chatting about that? Brisket Broads. What are your thoughts? I know. So I'll say this. Our channel's a little critical on our team. We like to be a little bit more critical. I know.
We'll have the balance.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
pretty critical too, but we're critical of people who are critical of the team.
I like that. I like that.
It's perfectly said. Perfectly said. But tell us a little bit about what your thoughts with this free agent situation. I'm not putting you on the spot right from the get-go, but we love to be able to hear your perspective on it. And that's what this whole channel is all about. Like, we want to hear other people's perspectives and their thoughts. So,
and if anyone has questions in the chat, please throw them out there. I know Aether has a few, and I won't talk a ton because my voice is pretty much gone for the day. But anyways, let's hear from the Brisket Broads.
You do sign language.
There we go.
Yeah, you might be saying the wrong things in sign language. No way.
I don't speak sign language. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I'm feeling more encouraged recently because in like the beginning of the off season where it's all that like, oh my gosh, we're 20 million over the cap. What are we gonna do? Everyone's like, Popper was like, there's a 40% chance that the Chargers keep Keenan Allen, right? So you do the math, you're like, that's a 60% chance that they get rid of him,
Yep.
Plus the season of before there was so much changeover with who was on the team. So I assumed that a lot of people would be gone.
Yeah.
But then like we watched the Chris Hayre, Matt Money Smith, the Final Drive podcast the other day. And so Matt Money Smith was talking about how there's so many different ways to restructure contracts and like find money in different ways as opposed to like cutting your best players, so that whole thing, like they restructured Joey and Mac, I think, right? Recently.
Correct.
And then they're like $8 million under now. So so I feel more like I'm like, okay, I think we're gonna be okay. I feel like a lot of these guys in free agency that we love, we think they're still gonna be there. I think also there was an interview with Tom Telesco at the Combine where he talked about how the priority is to win. But secondly, they want to build an entertaining football team and have entertaining football. And so like, we love that because that means like they're going after these players that are fun to watch, that are maybe fun personalities. So, and maybe like attractive, which is what the girls like,
I give everybody a little something.
Wait. I think Mary's got a little thing for Joey Bosa. Am I correct on that?
Strong.
But
that's why we feel like next year, I think they're gonna go like all in to get Nick Bosa. We're definitely feeling like what would be more entertaining than having the Bosa brothers on your team? So
that would be incredible.
That would be incredible.
Well, then we'll sound like a law firm on the front lines of
Bosa.
Bash,
Bosa.
and
Bosa
Johnson.
and
I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah. That sounds good to me. That's a law firm that I'd go to. But
That's a winning combination.
It's an interesting thing. Even with the contract renegotiations with Williams and Allen too. We did a lot of videos of like, what if we trade off Keenan Allen? What will we do? Or cut him? Or what happened? Or, I did one on Austin Eckler this week saying like, what if we traded off Austin Eckler? And, once again, we're being critical about the team in a sense. And we're looking at players and thinking, how can we free up cap space? How can we capitalize on somebody that's done really well for us to be able to add more draft capital? So there's a lot of different ways that we want to look at it. But the Chargers are now over the cap right now, which is kind of nice to see, which tomorrow is when free agency like negotiations start. So we basically are over the cap, which is what we have to get to by the 15th, regardless as league rules. But we still have other cuts that could be happening. So
very true.
Which is kind of interesting to see what players might be up there. So Matt Filer, for instance, one of those guys, if we let him go, we add another $7 million plus to our cap, which is possibly what's going to happen because he didn't have the best of year last year. Mind you, he didn't have Rashawn Slater to his left side of him.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what's still to be happening with free agency. What about players you would like to keep on this team? You know, we got players that are gone too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there are like so many different players that had to step up this year because of how many injuries we had, which makes it really, which makes it kind of hard also. But then also maybe easier because you've seen that some of these rookies can step up. So, you know, and usually rookies cost less money. So on like the defensive side of the ball, we have been talking about like JC Jackson stuff, like, because we're rewatching all the games and it's reminding us of how many times it was because of JC Jackson that like touchdowns were made, you know, which like it takes time to get clicked in to a defense. So, you know, we never really got to see that happen. Like we only got to see him not do well and then get hurt. But then we got to see all these other guys come in, you know, like Mike Davis had like an amazing season. Phenomenal. And then Alohi Gilman. And then even we were talking about at the end of the season, Jasir Taylor started playing on defense. Like before he was just special teams, but then you saw him in defense and having like some amazing plays. So it's kind of like for us, we're kind of like, we don't have an emotional connection with JC Jackson yet.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like, that could be an area, you know, like we have so many great secondary players that it's like,
don't know.
And right now he's our highest paid player on the team with these restructures, right? So it's like, okay. And then, you know, and I was criticized a few times on the chat from the video I did yesterday with Mac and Bosa. And, you know, there were some people saying, well, yeah, JC's going to be with us, yada, yada. It's like, well, is he really committed to this team, right? And I think the argument could be made that JC Jackson really doesn't do well in this type of system, right? He's more of a man corner. And so you got to kind of wonder, okay, how does it play out? Now, my thought is, would he restructure his contract? Who knows, right? I think that would be an easy one to try and restructure because look at the amount of money he could get paid. He's played, 2 games last season, and then he blew out his, so we'll see what happens, right? But, you know, anyways, we talk a lot about that.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, the thing about him getting cut or anything at this moment in time, I mean, it would put us in a negative cap situation. So it's dumb to do something like that.
Correct.
As they've kicked the can down the road, per se, with these restructures, you're starting to look at 2024 and you're like, holy smokes. I mean, yeah, we cut him, we'd get 15 million dead cap money, but they would save 4.375 million towards the cap. Even to say next year might be really tough, but we could kick the can down the road. If you want to.
Yeah, and I mean, they increased the cap, right, recently. So that's the thing, too, where it's kind of like, just deal with this year and kind of, you know, see what happens next year. Like,
live in the now.
Live in the now.
Like, it might be that they increase the cap because some of these other, like, quarterbacks and stuff are getting, like, insane deals.
Stupid.
So it's like they're going to have to increase the cap, I think. So it might be, you know, like, it might be it's not really ever a problem. Like, they just keep finding creative ways to restructure. And I guess like there's these loopholes. They can give players bonuses so they're still getting the same money, but it just looks different, you know, and gift cards or whatever. Gift cards.
Here's a couple $1 million of Starbucks gift cards for you.
Yep.
Amazon gift certificate, huh?
Yeah.
I love that.
You like Chipotle, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, you know, outside of football news, Starbucks is the only reliable bank system right now. So
yeah. It's a good investment.
Yeah.
There you go.
Don't buy crypto. Well, speaking of this, we got Aether. Aether threw out his first question. And guys, throw your questions out here as well, too. So this is a pretty good question. I think Aether directed it towards me. I'm not sure if he did or not.
Yeah,
but again,
kind of.
Aether's always firing at me. That's cool, though.
Yeah, that's right.
I like when Aether would call us and be like, Andy, baby. And he would ask the question. That was the best.
Andy, baby. That's the
Andy, baby.
So I have to say about Herbert's contract. First Charger can't give him a team franchise deal because of the MLPA will get involved in Mahomes. Was offered $350 million for 8 years. NFLPA rejected. So it'll be interesting. I think right now it's projected he's going to get close to $50 million, per year. And he should get paid that. Like he's that good. Right? We all know he's that good. So. But I think the whole point of the salary cap, I think what I like about the salary cap is the fact that you have to be underneath it. You have to make the numbers work. you can't be like the baseball, any baseball organization just go spend unlimited amounts of dollars. So teams can't hoard players, right? Which I think is really good. So it stays fair. But yeah, you got a guy like Justin Herbert's going to get paid that much money. Woo, you got to be creative with the accounting. So yeah, definitely some thoughts there.
And he will get his 5th year contract picked up too.
Correct.
So 2024, he'll get probably $29 million for that. And then his extension will probably start in 2025, hypothetically, if we do sign him this year. So that first hit could potentially be 45 million, 50 million plus, which is insane. Like Daniel Jones getting a pretty large contract, which I think that's what the Brisket Broads are chatting about. That's
100%. I mean, 40 million.
Daniel Dimes is throwing Daniel pennies all the time. He ain't throwing no dimes. He's throwing pennies.
He ain't Herbert.
And he got paid.
And he got like, hey, dude, $40 million. Woo.
Stupid. Yeah. He's getting paid more than Mahomes, which doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. But
laughable.
It's just the Giants I guess, were desperate and they thought Daniel Dimes or Daniel Pennies is solid. But
Daniel Pennies.
The whole thing, and Andrew and I chatted about it too. We said, hey, look, like Pat McAfee talks about it in a show, and I watch that every single day, and I love watching his show. And he talked a lot about how the cap space is kind of just a fictional number. You just manipulate it all you want. You could kick the can down the road as much as you possibly want. And, I think that we have a lot of things ahead of us that we have to think about. Like I have right now the tab for 2024. We only have 14 million over cap space right now, but you look at Mac, Bosa, Williams, Allen, and the cap hits that they have, 38 million, 36 million, 32 million, 34 million. And then you're going to add that 5th year contract with Justin Herbert on top of that. Next year is going to be an interesting year. This year, I've been saying to Kyle and Andrew is that, look, they just want to run it again because we had a lot of injuries with our key players. Mike Williams, Allen out. Barely had any time on the same time on the field. Same thing for Bosa and Mac. When they were on field, they were highly effective, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's just run it again. Let's run it again. See where it goes.
Yeah.
So,
and it does feel like Staley is building the team. Like, so he had his first year where it seemed like he kind of kept a lot of the same players that were there before, when he came in. But then this past year, it was like he had more say of like creating the team he wanted. So you see like a lot of players that he worked with before that he brought in, and like really intentional, like not just people that are good on the field, but leadership people, like veterans who would be able to create that culture. Like he talks about that all the time. Because I feel like in the NFL, like it's a slim margin that makes the difference between winning and losing. 100%. It's like, 100%. What are those things that affect it? And it's like that unity of a team. And we saw it, this season where it's like that point where our defense really jived together, where like they were taking ownership in the locker room themselves. And they were like playing lights out, even without Derwin James, right? Like they were like shutting out these teams. So I feel like they don't want to destroy what they're building. So I feel like a lot of the players are still going to be there this next season. I'm excited.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And I think so. And the ones that I would say most, Mary, were you about to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, because like I look, how they have that busted up score rating where they show all the teams. Like if you look at throughout the whole season, the only teams that were more injured than us were the Broncos and the Cardinals.
Yep.
And like what happened to them at the end of the season? Like they were in shambles, like everyone getting fired, like players talking crap about other players. And then look at our season. Like, of course it didn't end the way we wanted it to, but like that was
a united team in spite of all that injury. So you see like what happens to other teams when they fall apart.
Crumble.
So the fact that our team was more united is pretty insane.
Yep. Just goes to show you the leadership that we have in this coaching staff. And I know Aether's a huge fan of, Staley and everything like that as well too. And I mean, he's growing on me. I think he's proven. We're only paying him $4 million a year, guys, to be our head coach.
What a bargain.
I'll take it.
Take that.
A bargain.
Yeah.
A bargain.
Yeah. Well, I say that I think that's actually a really good reason why the team wants to keep all these people in. Is they already have built a relationship together, and they already have built a bond. And so like you guys were saying, it's just like, let's just keep it rolling, like let's not break up the family just yet. We have we had a good opportunity last year, but then that injury bug hit us hard. And so like, this unity is only going to get better. And so I think honestly, like there's a lot of rumors, of course, of still other players getting let go. Like, obviously James is saying Austin Eckler. People are talking about maybe Everett being let go too, and then maybe
Hopkins, Filer.
Right. And so it's like it's very possible that we're going to keep them all as much as possible, because right now we're under cap, and I think we just drafted a couple new players, and then I think we're good. We're pretty Gucci all of a sudden,
We Gucci.
Yeah, and it's we don't have many holes in my personal opinion, but I do think that the biggest gaping hole is the linebacker position. So for instance, like Drew Tranquill, like I think he's an absolute stud as a linebacker, and I think he's blossomed very, very well this last year. I think this was his big year, because he did have a little bit of injury issues early on in his career, but he blossomed as a leader. Thing is, though, now we've even checked in on Bobby Wagner, who just got let go from the Rams. And with our salary cap situation, we have roughly a little bit over, I mean, it's with draft picks. Actually, let me pull this up on the stream here real quick. I think it ends up breaking. This is the Daniel Popper breakdown. Hopefully you guys can see this. This is the tiniest looking thing here. Let me see if I can zoom in on this.
Zoom it up a little bit.
So basically
live TV,
with our
guys, live TV, this is how it is.
That's right. So we have currently 7 picks. That's going to cost us, give or take, $8 to $10 million ish for all that. We got all our salary cap here, carry over from last year, our restructures, all that nonsense. We basically break down to roughly about $12 million in spending space that we can do at the moment. Now, once again, if we start letting go, for instance, Dustin Hopkins is a guy. I mean, we got Dicker the kicker, keep him.
Gotta get Dicker back.
Keep the Dicker here,
I could definitely see that for price wise, what you get, and so that would also free up a lot of money there.
Matt Filer, same thing. If Gerald Everett was going to get let go, those things, you could free up essentially another $10 million of spending space on this situation. We could go after Bobby Wagner, a very proven guy that has done it, won Super Bowls, really, really shoring up that middle linebacker position for us, and played at a very high level for the Rams. So do we go after Bobby Wagner, or we go with the guy that's the younger guy that would have a multi-year based contract? What I'm hearing, Bobby Wagner probably would only get a 1-year contract.
Yeah.
But if we run with him for a $10 million, just like what he was getting paid at the Rams, give him $5 million signing bonus, that's only about $5 to $7 million hit for us. Great. I'll take that all day. So it's interesting. By the way, Jalen Ramsey just got traded to the Dolphins this morning.
Dolphins, yep.
So no Derwin, no Ramsey connection, by the way.
Yep. It's actually kind of a good thing that that we didn't pick him up, because we're already struggling with our salary cap situation as is.
Too much to add. Too much to add for our team.
And I feel like we have a lot on that side of the ball.
That's one of our strengths.
Yeah, Asante Samuel Jr. did pretty good for us, by the way, in the playoffs. I don't know if that view looks very good.
Nope, you cut him out. Yeah.
A totem pole.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, just stand behind each other. It's like Step Brothers or something like that. When he's in the drop.
I love it. We got a couple more questions here too. I know Aether's got one. Do we want to talk about the draft now, or do we want to go to Aether's question for the Brisket Broads first?
Yeah,
let's go to the Brisket Broads question.
This
is our guest.
All right, here we go. So bring your heads up above there. There you go.
Yeah, I'm like, there you go. Hey.
I love that.
Actually, it might be good. Maybe you should do that.
See, and that's why I did that.
Yeah, that's why you did it.
This is the wheels are coming off on the show, guys.
Actually, wait, no, I got an idea. Here. Let's try this one here.
Oh, here we go. Well,
wait,
no,
not that one.
Wow.
Oh man.
Oh boy,
we got a whole bunch of options. We don't really know what we're doing here.
Good job there.
I got an idea.
Let's go back to that.
Okay.
So there you go. How about that?
Kadir
there you go.
is asking about food at SoFi. This
depends on where you sit.
It depends on where you sit. So we've heard a lot of people talk about that they hate the food at SoFi, but we got seats pretty close. So apparently the food in our area is like different than the food that's in like the upper levels.
Yes.
Because it's actually pretty good.
The commoners
yeah.
We get the bread and soup, you know.
Yeah, celebrities get all the good stuff over here. The brisket broads.
We're talking about starting up like a DoorDash or something where we can deliver food to the other.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh no, just bring a drone into the stadium and then you can just like fly it up to
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
I'm sure they'd love that.
Yeah.
Or I've seen those little robots like on the wheels.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I would probably say for Aether, hey man, if you're coming, please let us know. Kyle will probably be there. He's a season ticket holder.
Yep.
Andrew and me, we go there every now and then, couple games, hopefully this year. But I would say just go to Thunder Alley, man. Just go to Thunder Alley. Pink lot.
Yeah, man, meet up with us in Thunder Alley for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Food, drinks,
tailgate is undefeated.
Oh yeah,
Tailgate
exactly.
undefeated.
Chargers tailgates are undefeated. Faux show.
Yeah. We had homemade egg rolls at Thunder Alley. Someone made. They were so good.
Legit.
Oh my gosh.
Next level.
Awesome.
Come on.
That's awesome.
Come on. Man, this is better than PF Chang's, you know?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
That's the tagline for Thunder Alley.
Yeah.
Better than PF Chang's.
Better PF Chang's. Oh my gosh, I love it.
There you go.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the draft here. So so Larry had a great question, and then we'll go to Brisket Broads first. What positions do the Chargers need to draft? And so I'm thinking maybe first pick. What do you think? And then we could kind of maybe go a little round robin around this.
Yeah. Well, I started reading this book. It's called The Thinking Man's Guide to Pro Football. It's by Paul Zimmerman. It was written in like 1983. Wow. So a lot of the football players they reference, I'm like, I have no idea who this is. But it's been really cool. Like now I'm kind of obsessed with the offensive line. Yeah. Because that chapter, they talk about like how important they are. And they would talk about these teams that when they would get a really good running back, the offensive line would be like, holy crap, we need to step it up. Because if this guy's not able to run, it's not his fault. It's our fault. Yeah. So I thought that's really interesting. Like with some during the season, there was sometimes some criticism of Austin Eckler, right? Where they're like, oh, our running game isn't able to get going. Like, has Austin lost it? And it's like, no, he hasn't lost it, you know? So, so I do feel like, I don't know if the draft is the best place. Like there's different ways to get offensive linemen. There's like a lot that are in free agency right now. Yeah. So, but apparently this is a good draft class for offensive linemen, I've read. Yep. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go there. I know everyone's talking about the tight ends, but I feel like with, the 21st pick, I don't know that the really great ones will still be there, but who knows?
I mean, maybe, because every team has got their own needs.
Yeah.
I mean, the cool thing about the tight end is that, I mean, they do block, so it's kind of like a hybrid,
Right.
Yeah. It is kind of like a lineman.
and all the girls like the tight ends too. I always thought that was such a funny position name too, right?
All the girls like the tight ends.
Oh, I need therapy, ladies. I need therapy. Oh my gosh. So
go ahead. I was going to say, I feel like we just need to like kill time until Patrick Herbert is available as a tight end, because that connection is going to be, out of this world.
We'll get all the reps.
Well, that's another law firm on the offensive side. Yeah. From Herbert to Herbert, Williams, Allen, law firm. Yeah. Per diem. Yeah. Pro bono.
That's right.
Pro bono. But I like what you said, though. I really do think like our biggest problems from last season were we were not a very good offensive or defensive line team. We had so many injuries on the defensive side of the ball. So I personally think our first pick's probably going to be pretty unsexy. It's either going to be the best defensive lineman or the best offensive lineman for this team.
Yeah.
That could start day one.
We think it is sexy though, so.
Yeah.
We're like,
There we go.
Oh, I love it. That's amazing. It's amazing.
That's awesome. I mean, the thing is, though, that book talking about, games are won and lost at the line. And that's what Bobby Ross's philosophy was, which got 100%. Us to the Super Bowl.
100%.
So that's the whole thing. And that's a little Charger trivia, by the way, guys. Who was the head coach?
We've been learning about him, too.
Stud.
He was the coach too that year that they lost like their first.
Yeah, well, he was the coach, who came in like off of the losing seasons, and then his philosophy was only to have encouraging positive stuff. So like in the film room, he would never show them the plays that they messed up on, but they would practice those plays in practice until they got them perfectly. But he wanted them to be encouraged. And so I thought that was like a beautiful philosophy too. And you see it work, but then they went to the Super Bowl.
That's great. That's awesome. And that's almost like a little bit of Bill Belichick kind of mentality, in my opinion. He always talks about like, I want to emphasize the strengths and just cover the weaknesses. Yeah. And so as a coach, you find his weaknesses. You don't say, hey, you suck at this. Yeah. That's going to put a bad, mindset for you. Yeah. Let's just find ways to utilize your strengths as much as it can. And then I'll secretly try to make you work better at what your weaknesses are. So I like that. That's good.
Good job, Larry.
Yeah. But, going back to that, draft wise, I mean, last year we did a live during the draft. And we're like, we're going to get this person and that person and everything. And then we're like, all right, for the, I think it's 17th pick, we got Zion Johnson. We're like,
right guard.
Who the hell is this? Yes.
Dude, I didn't even see this guy at all anywhere. Yeah. And, it all worked out well for us, right? I mean, the beautiful thing in the last draft, we got Jamari Sawyer too. Yep. Now he brings a whole nother dimension. If you could go in a draft and get 2 starting offensive linemen, that's massive for your team. I mean, and I might even push out Trey Pipkins on this team, which once again, we'll see what happens with him with contract negotiations and such too, but because it could put him at the right and then we could just draft a left guard. Or if we do honestly keep Matt Filer around, I don't know. But going to that, I know the Chargers have met with John Michael Schmitz, which is an offensive lineman from Minnesota. He fits really, really well into this line. Top blocker rated for run game. Very, very good on the pass game blocking. Could be a very early round, high IQ guy. So
that was another
one of those guys.
Yeah, another thing that Paul Zimmerman book talked about was how like some coaches would go after these really big O linemen, but this I don't remember which coach it was, but he was like, no, I don't want the biggest, strongest ones. I want the smartest ones. Yep. Because then you can plug them in different places. Because apparently they listed offensive linemen as you needed to be smarter even than the quarterback. The quarterback was second place. But you would see when we lost Corey Linsley for a few games, you saw the impact that had. So for me, I do feel maybe I don't know that a rookie center would really I think you have to have experience in the league to be great as a center. But that was one of the things with Will Clapp. I mean, I don't know I know that he has a relationship with Corey Linsley. He came from the Packers, I think. Too, but I feel if we could have a center, a really great rookie center that could learn under Corey, I think that would be really key, really important.
I think one guy that could step in as the center of the future is Zion Johnson, because he actually played center at Boston College for a little while. So he's extremely smart. Then he have a degree in cybersecurity. That's what I sell now. And so
but Andrew is not smart. So
but you're his brother. You have to say that.
Oh yeah. All day. No problem.
I think you're smart though,
I had to do a little drum there.
Yep.
But I don't know. What do you think, Kyle? What do you think our first pick should be, at least for the first round?
Man, I mean, I feel like this. Here's the one thing that I've kind of been saying, talking with a lot of people, is that we could go tackle or we could go guard. And the reason is because we can easily move, I feel like, Jamari Sawyer to the right tackle position or the left guard position.
Sure.
So he's our wild card player, I feel like, and he's a multi, he has a man of many hats, as you say.
Multifaceted, yes.
Yeah, multifaceted, cross-trained, he's classically trained in the cross-train. Yeah. So I feel like, that's actually a huge benefit for us, is that
right.
So we have that, in a lot of ways, when you're playing Skipbo or something like that, you got you got those connector cards or something, you're like, okay, I all I need is one of these things, and whoever's available,
fun game,
we're going to get the best available player at that point. So and so I really do feel like that we're going to address the line before anything, either defensively or offensively, and that could be as like we were saying, with a tight end too. But the other thing is that we've seen amazing tight ends go in later in the draft. Like,
Right.
like Kittle was like a 3rd round or 5th round pick. And I think what's his name? Kelsey was also like a 3rd or 5th round pick. And so I mean, this is a very deep draft when it comes to tight end position. So I think we're in pretty good shape. And so it's a hard thing to go for. But are we going to talk about Aether's question here? He was actually asking you a question here, James, about the 2nd round.
Pull it up.
Pull it up. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I know we're talking a lot about blocking and offensive line and everything like that too. And Aether's asking, this is for you, James, baby. We picking around 54, pick 54. I want the Bolts to move up to 42, get an extra 4th for next year's 2nd and 4th. Will you do it? So yes. So what I would do it is if Darnell Washington was on the board, and that's a tight end who once again, I keep saying if you put him out there, a 6'7", 6'8" tight end, 260, he's an extra blocker for that line. And
a lineman.
If you watch the combine and him pushing that sled, he looks like he's pushing a stroller with a baby. It was like no big deal. Like he could just launch somebody off the line, and that adds a whole nother edge situation for us. Say if we had a rookie right tackle that we end up getting, I'm just saying if we're going to stick on the offensive line, you would have another guy who is an extremely good blocker from Georgia. We did also get, Musgrave from Georgia already as a coach. He has hands-on with this player, seen this player develop. He knows the strengths and weaknesses. It makes a ton of sense to do that. So if it comes up to the point of pick 42 that we could trade up to it and get a Darnell Washington, you add a player for Justin Herbert, a massive target. If you have Parham on the other side, another 6'7", 6'8" guy, dude, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
I got the video of that sled here right now for you guys.
Oh, let's see that. Here you go.
Yeah,
baby stroller. Here we go.
Yeah.
Baby stroller.
That's it. That's him pushing it.
Wow.
Oh my God, he might score a
great.
touchdown.
But now here's the other guys.
Wow. Well, great dad.
Yeah.
What a great
Look at
dad.
these other guys. Look.
Yeah, and then here's another one.
Oh, Michael Bear right here.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see the difference. No.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dang.
Big
Yeah.
difference. Massive.
What's his name? Washington. He has like a really good stance with his legs. He really,
Whoa.
Easy,
No
easy.
problem.
He might score a touchdown.
Oh my
Easy.
gosh.
Jeez.
Good balance.
Yeah.
I don't know what they feeding those boys down in Georgia, but I tell you what, it's all about
Peaches.
football for those guys.
Yeah, Georgia peaches. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. A lot
Good
of people.
stuff.
Yep.
Good stuff.
So
Yeah.
Robert Sumo's got a good question as well too. Something I brought up in a video that I did a little while ago, talking about the Chargers potentially moving up and down the draft board, maybe trading down. So maybe Brisket Broads, if you want to go with this one first, could you guys see the Chargers moving up or down the draft to access more draft capital? So if so, what position would you see them trading up or down for?
I feel like I barely even understand how the draft works. This is a question above my pay grade. What I know is from draft day. So what I'm concerned with is who went to whose birthday party and who didn't have people go to their birthday party. We'll let you guys answer that question.
Well, so what my thought was, we have the 21st pick, right? But you know what? What if we traded that away for maybe 2 second-round picks or a second round and a third-round pick, maybe for this year or next year, and get additioning draft capitals? Because again, when we talk about the salary cap, part of the problem is our team's getting old and we're getting expensive, and that's a problem financially, right? So
old people are expensive.
Yes, that's right. That's correct. But again, it would make sense to me because let's say we wanted to get a tight end. Well, maybe Meyer will be there on the second round. We could get a defensive lineman potentially and a tight end in the second round, and then maybe get a third round pick and then get some other depth as well too. So we would end up with, instead of 7 picks, which is I think what we have now, if we don't get a compensation pick, we could get maybe 8 or a few others, right? So it kind of makes sense to do that. Because now we have the money to spend for these draft picks. So I think it makes sense, but I think it really boils down to what Telesco and Staley really want for this team and what they really think about these players, right? These players have been scouted forever, right? So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. What are you guys' thoughts on that too, James or Kyle?
My thing is, like I said, I don't think there's that many holes in this team, and
Yeah, me
trading
too.
up, in my opinion, just to get higher level top 100 based talent, I think isn't a bad strategy, in my opinion. Like, we have 7 picks. Do we really hypothetically need 7 picks? I mean, maybe safety position if we're bringing back Nas. I don't know. I mean, he might be kind of a cheaper contract because it's not like Nas really had that impactful of a position with the safety position for us. But I do think Alohi Gilman did actually much better than Nas, in my opinion. So I just look at it as we need linemen. I think we got to go D-line, offensive line, and we need to find one other speedy guy for wide receiver, which I think in the 3rd round we could go after somebody there. So, so Palmer from Nebraska is one of the guys that I think could be. I think it's Trey Palmer. Nebraska.
I like that.
It's a new state. We got 51 states.
Nebraska.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a little sick here. I'm a little sick, but Nebraska.
I love that, Nebraska.
But yeah, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing for trade up purposes, because I like I said, I don't think we need that many players. If we get 4 really quality based players, I think I'd be totally fine with that kind of situation and just trade up as much as we can. But what's your thoughts, Kyle?
When it comes to the 2nd round, I mean, I don't know, man. It's kind of a crapshoot at that point for 2nd round. So I feel like if anything, I think we can trade down in the 1st round and maybe get something out of that. If we can trade down, maybe go down to like the 30th pick or something, and then get another 2nd round pick. That would be huge. But I'll say this. I really don't think Tom Telesco is going to do that. He is not too fancy when it comes to the draft. I feel like he just wants to pick the best available player at the moment, and that's kind of his strategy. And so as far as we're definitely not going to do a Bears and Panthers draft kind of thing going on. Holy smokes, the Bears! They fleeced. The Panthers got fleeced for sure, man.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, and they gave up DJ Moore. Like, who do they have as a wide receiver over there? I don't even get it, dude. Like,
the ball.
Who needs wide receivers?
Right.
Who needs those guys?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, I mean, I can't see it really happening. But I mean, if we traded one of the players, I can see us getting like a 2nd and 3rd round pick, potentially. Like, I mean, I wouldn't want to see that, but I mean, there is rumors that Morgan Fox is on the move, so we can see something maybe coming from that trade.
No, he has to stay.
But
I want him.
Morgan Fox has to.
Megan Fox looking good.
Sounds like he's got a contract waiting for him. So
he's got a contract. Yeah, so
I don't know what it is.
We met his fiance. Really nice.
Yeah. Wait, he has a contract where?
We don't know
yet.
Yet. He hasn't signed anything yet, but on Twitter, it looks like he posted something about it, and Kyle Van Noy was like, "Yeah, we get it. You got to get that bag," and so it's like, shoot. So somebody's got him.
Somebody's giving him something.
Yeah. So
we'll message his fiance and tell her no.
Do it.
Tell him no.
Yeah, tell him he can't go. Yeah. Tell him the Brisket Broads said no.
Yeah.
And the Bolt Bros. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
We all said no. Everyone said no. So sorry.
Sorry, I can't take that multi-million-dollar contract.
Yeah.
What's money? Life is not about money.
Yeah. It's all about being happy, and California is amazing. So yeah.
Happy cows come from California.
This is your home. Are you too good for your home?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, so Corbin's got a really good comment here. So late round draft picks is all about scouting, team putting in the work. Who would be the best surprise late round undrafted free agent in this regime has had? Eckler. I would say Eckler has definitely been one of the best. But another one I could bring up is Mike Davis from BYU. He was undrafted. He was actually sat down his senior season at BYU, and he was undrafted free agent. So both of them have been absolutely amazing, right? But again, he brings up a great point. That is the entire scouting team. It takes a tribe to get a good team together. So,
I'm going to say, if you're going to say in Chargers history, I mean, you got to go to Antonio Gates.
Yep.
I mean, come on now. He wasn't even playing football. He was playing basketball, Ball State.
Yep.
And got undrafted put in as a tight end, Hall of Fame tight end. I mean, that guy's an absolute stud. I wish we still had him on the team.
Golly, dude, no joke.
Gosh.
Golly, he was so amazing. He was so amazing.
Absolute stud. Hey, by the way, I think Aether throws out a lot of questions on our chat all the time, but he's got one for Heather and Mary there. So let's go. Here it is.
Okay.
Let's go. He's
You
bringing
have
the
to
heat.
pick one.
Okay.
Chargers winning the division. I think it says deviation, I think, or something on
Ooh,
there.
I like that. I want them to
Yeah,
win the
okay.
deviation.
Yes.
Or
that idea.
That's mysterious.
I like it. Or sweep the Chiefs, but win the Super Bowl as a wild card. Oh, come on now.
I
I
think
mean-
that's pretty easy.
Come
I
on
mean,
now.
yeah.
Come on
I
now.
would rather
That's
have
a
them
pretty
win the Super Bowl
simple
than
would you
the
rather
division.
there. Yeah.
Man,
That's a tough question there.
Yeah, it's going to be Super Bowl. And if you sweep the Chiefs, personally,
Yeah.
you have to sweep the Chiefs, in my opinion,
Yeah.
to win the division.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like we've barely not. I mean, every
We barely
game,
not.
Yeah,
swept
we
them.
Barely
barely, not.
not.
swept them.
barely
Yeah.
didn't swept.
Yes.
That's the
Well,
thing about
you
the
know-
Chiefs. They just find a way to win. They just
They
do.
have, but
So
that's one of our
The rest
slogans here on this
often
channel.
help.
Yes.
That's
They
one of
do.
our slogans here on this channel. The Chargers. We lose big and we win barely.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love
Or
it.
we could even add barely not to that in some level, too. We barely
Barely not,
not.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
that's
I love
great.
it.
All right. What else you guys got to talk about? Morgan Fox gone, Pipkins. I know some people talking about Pipkins in the chat too.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
backup ability only. HH4 is talking about that.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of an interesting thing to say. Trey Pipkins. We met actually one of his cousins or something like that at the Cardinals game. Because there was
Oh,
a guy
did you?
wearing a Pipkins jersey, and we were
Yep.
chatting with him a little bit about it, and he was just like talking about his knee and his situation, and he's like, man,
Yeah.
he's trying his best to be able to stay in the game, and he's really, really working very, very hard on it this year. So, I mean, the guy put his body on the line and still
Yeah.
stayed out there and did a really, really good job. I would like to see continuity, in my opinion, at the right tackle. If you're a fan of the Chargers for some years, I mean, that right tackle position has been
Yeah.
Always
a
a hole.
mess
Yes,
Yeah.
always.
for
Yep.
us. I mean, Sam Tevy was one guy from Utah that we had,
Ooh.
7th round pick. That guy was a mess. I mean, that guy was a mess to be on the right tackle. I mean, we need stability on that right side. And
Yeah.
I think it would be tough for us to let Trey Pipkins go. But I don't know what his asking price is at this point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Well,
lot.
and I
Fucking
know.
cool.
I mean, we're newer fans, so we weren't around for his years when he wasn't doing as well. But I knew in the off season he trained with Rashawn Slater. Like Rashawn Slater was
Yep.
like, "Come with me to my guy that trains me," and you saw like so much improvement in Trey. And then the fact, that he was injured. Like a lot of times, we forget about it because we just see them out there.
Yeah.
But then when you see like on the injury report, like he was battling through, and that's like his position. That's putting a lot of stress on your knees and stuff. So like the fact that he was still able to hold that position was like amazing. So
Great.
I feel
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
And I know people have talked about like this was a contract year for him. So it was like, was he only playing hard because of the contract year? And then, but I could not see him suddenly being like, now I'm going to be a crappy player because I've gotten paid, It's
Right.
We don't make
Yeah.
it this far.
like, yeah. I'm sure he wants to improve. He wants to be better just himself. So I don't think that argument is so
Right.
valid.
Well,
I
and
mean-
you bring up a good point too. Is that these players now have to step outside of their comfort zone, and so when the season's over, they
Mhm.
got to go train more,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Because they have less reps to actually train and understand the playbook as well too. So
Mhm.
it's the extra effort that they do in the offseason that's huge. I mean, one guy I'd love to see too is JT Woods. He was obviously a pretty horrible
Yeah.
tackle for us last year. And if we don't sign not Adderley, which it doesn't look like it's going to happen, JT Woods is going to step in that role.
Yeah.
So, injuries start happening, but man, we need a guy that can tackle, right? He's fast, he's
Yeah.
tall, but tackling's pretty damn important on the defensive side of the ball, guys, right? And so it's something he's got to focus on. So you bring up a really good point on that. Kyle, sorry to cut you off there, bud.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, the truth is that like all these players are playing through injuries all year,
Yes.
the entire year. Like
Yep.
some of them actually are suffering in silence in a lot of ways, and they're just like, I gotta play. The team
Yeah.
needs me. I'm out there.
Yeah.
truth is too, is like, I think Justin Herbert, his injury was affecting him a lot more than people realize.
Yep.
And yes, he wasn't on the injury report, but I really think that the reason why he kept doing those dink and dunk passes is because of his injury. Like he couldn't throw it realistically deep down the field, at risk of getting hit as the play develops and stuff, and getting injured further. So yeah. And so that's possibly it. Because like, I mean, we did see who was it? Kurt Warner actually did a breakdown about some of the plays that he was out there with, and like down the field, Keenan Allen was open, Mike Williams was open, but
he was always
instead,
open. Yeah.
but instead, Justin Herbert threw it short to Austin Eckler, and that was actually a huge thing. And so, like, I really think to this day that Justin Herbert was dealing with a bigger injury and still dealing with it throughout the entire season, and that's why he was throwing it short so much.
Definitely.
Yep. Most definitely. And it was against those dreaded Chiefs that they injured us. Bunch of jerks.
Oh, we
bunch of jerks.
I'm
Hey,
not
speaking
surprised.
of that,
They're jerks.
Yeah. Speaking of that, wait, aren't you guys big fans of Paul Rudd? Right?
Yes,
Yep.
we do love Paul Rudd.
Yeah, so here's the question. Do you like Paul Rudd more than Justin Herbert?
Oh,
Wow.
whoa.
Oh God.
Hard-hitting questions here. Wow.
Wow, you're a little hard-hitting questions here.
Uh,
I mean, I've definitely known about Paul Rudd longer than Justin Herbert, because like Clueless is one of my all-time favorite movies.
yeah.
So, that, like, as far as longevity wise, is probably Paul Rudd's been in my life longer than Justin Herbert. But I think definitely Justin Herbert is, they're close. But I think when Paul Rudd finally becomes a Chargers fan, then we'll have to reevaluate this conversation.
That shows good judgment.
I love that. Yeah, we need that. We need that to happen.
There you go.
I saw a commercial in '91 that Paul Rudd was in. Do you know what commercial that is, by the way? It's a video game company. Okay, I'm giving you, I guess, maybe some trivia here.
In '91, I probably would have been too young to notice Paul Rudd, to be honest.
Most people had this video game system, but it's for Nintendo.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was this commercial that he was like playing this game really intensely and stuff. And I was watching that commercial and I was like, why does he look the same? Like, that guy does not age. Like, I don't get it. I do not get it. But
I
that
think
guy's
when
got some
you're
secrets.
when you're just a nice guy, just going about life, I don't know, maybe that's the secret to eternal youth.
Yeah.
Be a nice guy.
Because the Chiefs sold their soul to the devil.
Oh, there it is.
And that was one
shoot.
of the perks. They're like, Paul Rudd will never age.
Never
Patrick Mahomes
age.
will somehow be really good at football.
Paul Rudd, man, sold his soul to the devil. Not good.
Come on, Paul.
I love it. I love it.
Hey, you know what? I got you guys. Let's watch
here it is.
Hey!
Here it is.
Anytime.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
Bam! Decide to step up to this kind of power.
Oh, F-Zero.
This
I
kind
remember
of
that game.
challenge, this kind of flying,
Super Nintendo.
crashing
Yeah.
feeling.
There it is.
There's only one place to come.
Oh my gosh.
No
Dude.
one else creates this kind of experience.
Oh, that's
Because no
amazing.
one else creates these kinds of
Look
games.
at him.
Now you're playing with
Wow.
power, superpower.
Oh, that's amazing.
Let's see if I can find the spot. Here it is. Just the picture of it. Here we go.
Hey.
I mean, he does kind of look young there.
Look at that.
Here's a little longer.
Yeah.
Look at Ant-Man.
Right.
Look at
His
Ant-Man.
hair's longer.
Long frame
He doesn't
for
have the
Ant-Man.
beard, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what ages people.
I really believe that he's playing video games there. He's such a good actor.
Yeah.
Yes. He's totally not even looking at the
That's how I play
the
games. What are you
screen.
talking about?
Oh, my
man.
gosh, it's amazing. I love it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, any other questions or anything at all, guys? I know we're a little bit over an hour here and everything.
I was just going to say, we were talking about the draft, draft down. It seems like everyone seems keen on the idea of drafting down, getting more draft capital. I like that idea personally because I do think this team needs more depth, right? I think a lot about last year's draft. It was really very unsexy picks, right? I mean, they were just safeties, just weird picks that, you want a good wide receiver. You want a running back. It's so funny because everyone keeps talking about Bijan Robinson and all these different wide receivers. I just don't see this going after those people, especially as much money as we have on Keenan Allen and Williams and, Eckler, so on and so forth. But I do think we're going to see more unsexy picks this year. That's kind of my prediction for the draft. But we'll see. But it seems like the general consensus is trading back is probably a smart move. So we'll see what happens.
Add a second round pick, add more talent. Like, I think if you could do that, great. Do it all day. I mean, I don't think Tom Telesco's he's traded up and never traded down.
Yeah, traded up K9, right?
Traded up for K9. Yeah. And we'll see if we're going to pick up his 5th-year contract. I don't think that's going to happen, but
I do feel like I've seen improvement in him though. Cause there was that, where sometimes he would just fly around the field so violently where you're like, oh my gosh, you're like hurting our own players. But I feel like that was another element you saw with like the unity thing of the team, where it's like he's building relationships with some of these teammates, so then he's less inclined to like
feels bad.
There you
them over. They're like, hey buddy, like you almost gave me a concussion, So he's still young.
Didn't need that. Yeah. I get it.
Say, another player that we really want to see back on the team is Jalen Guyton.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah. We need that speed.
Yeah.
I think you guys posted something on your Instagram about that. Are you connected to their mom or something, like, or his mom or something? Moms of NFL or something like that, or what was it?
Yeah. Well, she was someone early on that we followed. I mean, we've always really liked Jalen Guyton because, like, he's so fast, and like all of those highlights of Justin Herbert. Usually, he's throwing to Jalen Guyton. So that's so fun to see. And then we feel like he's so funny in any of the little promo, like the extra stuff they do, like when they do the drawings, like the kids drew the players, like Jalen always has such funny commentary with it. So we feel like all around we're like, oh, we really like him as a player. So his mom was somebody we followed early on Instagram. And so then it's just kind of grown that, like we message her and she started an Instagram for moms of the NFL. So it's cool to see like, their perspective of things, because it's like, it's their sons, they're not just players, they're people. So adding that element to it, I think has been exciting. Yeah.
I think you guys like him so much that you drafted him in the podcaster, draft, right? It was only gay-based named players, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah. Yeah, he was our very first draft pick.
That's awesome.
And then he got hurt.
Yeah.
Then he got hurt. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, we didn't win a single game of that fantasy.
It's really surprising.
Very surprising.
Well, we have one question here with Larry. So let's see. Who would you replace, Mac or Bosa, in case of an injury, right? So who would replace Mac or Bosa in case of an injury? Now, again, Kyle Van Noy only signed a 1-year contract with us.
Yeah.
So it'll be really interesting. I would want Kyle Van Noy, but again, we still got Rumpf. Rumpf does not look like he's the answer, right? So you need backups. So I'm really curious to see how it plays out. I really hope we re-sign Kyle Van Noy because I don't think we're going to get Drew Tranquil anyways. I think Drew is going to ask too much money, but you could put Kyle Van Noy right in the middle linebacker position. He's a very smart guy, and he can run edge if we had to. Plus, we got more people in linebacker roles. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on who could be, replace Mac and Bosa? Because, hey, we know they've had injuries, right? So what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah.
And we pretty much just need to get through this year because then the next year we get Nick.
Yeah.
So
it'll be fine.
That is happening.
That's a good
I
point.
like where you're at. Yeah, makes sense.
When we went to the 49ers Chargers game at Levi Stadium, and where we were sitting is right next to the tunnel where the 49ers, come in and out of. Obviously, we lost the game. It was terrible. But Nick was one of like the last people to go into the tunnel after the game, and we had our Charger trumpets. And sometimes you feel like someone's looking at you, like you're looking at them, and you're like, I feel like they're looking at us. But I was just holding the trumpet, like staring at Nick, and I felt like, he kind of waved at some of the 49ers fans, but I felt like he was like looking at that Charger trumpet, like he's like, that's where I want to go. Actually, I'm sick of wearing this red. Like I would look so much better in that blue and gold with my brother.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
That's
living
good.
a good
That's
life
good.
in LA. Yeah.
Well, and wear that beautiful jersey. I mean, I think Bash was trying to get some of the Patriots players recently too, and he was like, you want to wear this beautiful jersey, and this is the best jersey in sports, by the way. Like, I agree.
Yeah.
That would be wild to see Bosa there. I met up. I was randomly at a park, and there was this meetup where it was all these like Niner fans showing up there, just like it looked like Thunder Alley basically in there. They were grilling,
Oh, yeah,
playing
yeah.
like games. They were doing like raffles and stuff. It was crazy. But I just went over there, started just chatting with them about football and stuff. It was cool because, hey, it's off season, and hey, I'm a fan of the Niners. Like I grew up in the Bay Area, so it's like, hey, like I watched a lot of Niner games in my time, and so I chatted with them a little bit about Nick Bosa moves and everything like that. And I was like, you guys, what if you guys wanted Joey Bosa? Because there was kind of rumors about that, and they're like, yeah, we'll gladly take him and everything. But it'll be interesting to see if they do keep Nick Bosa, which he's man. If we had him, Joey, and Nick together. Good night. Good night.
I mean, we've looked at it. So like Nick's contract would be up next year, and Joey still has like a few years with us. And they've been really vocal about the fact that they want to play on the same team together.
Yeah.
And even when Joey first signed or re-upped his contract with us, he said like it would probably be Nick coming to the Chargers, just like how it's lining up. So I think it's been on their radar for a long time. They're not really, and I don't think Nick's, allowed to say that. Obviously, we're behind there.
Yeah. Well, it'd be killer. I'll take it. I'll take it gladly. I know, going back to the kind of subject there, I was thinking about draft, and some people have been talking about Nolan Smith from Georgia and adding him as an end. I mean, that guy beasted at the combine. Now, I don't really like the combine as like, hey, that's how they play on the field. But when you watch game film of that guy, adding him at the end would be dangerous to this whole defense, and just adding that depth to the end position, because Mac Bosa and Nolan Smith would be, it would be scary. It'd be a scary thing to watch. And then maybe since the Rams are purging, you could get Aaron Donald over here too. That'd be it.
Really? Wait, are they getting rid of Aaron Donald?
No, I mean they're purging the whole team basically right now.
Do they not want to win at all?
At all.
I mean, that's the problem, that the Rams, they painted themselves into a corner, with their salary cap situation. So so just so that way they can get the Super Bowl, and it worked out for them, thankfully. So so they got to clear some people out of there, So
well, the thing is, though, it's funny with the Ramsey trade, they only get a 3rd round pick. So they still are not having a 1st round pick. Once again, what it's been 6 years, I think they've had not one single 1st round pick or something stupid like that. So
they just way too much money, right? They just went out and got veterans, and again, that kind of goes back to the whole salary cap conversation. You can't just go out and buy a team, and we saw the Rams do it. They got a Super Bowl, but they're going to be hurt for the next couple of years, right? And that's the truth. So I think building in the draft is a big thing. It's interesting though. I'm trying to think of who else. There was one other comment that maybe I didn't read it, but I mean, Nolan Smith, I know Carlos is talking about that. Nolan Smith is available. Oh my God, he would be so amazing. I don't think he'll fall that far. I don't think he's going to go to 21, unless we trade up. But boy, it'd be really interesting to see. So I know we're getting pretty late on time. So should we wrap up now? At this point?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, well, we'll let the Brisket Broads give the final thoughts, or do we want ladies to go first? What do we think?
Or do we want Chargers trivia?
Oh yes, Chargers.
I don't know. We have to. It's kind of hard to find good trivia questions, so we probably shouldn't reveal our cards of what we're. How many of the questions did you guys know? Did you see the?
I had a good portion of them. I mean, a couple of them were like stumpers, and I'm like, I don't even know, but it was
Did
probably.
Did you know Joey Bosa's girlfriend's name?
No.
No idea.
My first thought was something about like, oh yeah, I know he plays the Gods of War, and he like, films himself playing video games. I didn't even know he had a girlfriend. How about that? Like, I didn't even know that. So news to me, But yeah, I did not know that one at all. But they were good questions. You did good.
Yeah,
you did good.
We're trying to have a really broad spectrum, like Chargers history, and then like what girls who stalk football players on social media would know.
I like that. I like it. Yeah.
I was going to say one thing. Since Heather, and I'm assuming Mary, you're also reading the book too, just about kind of the philosophies of building a football team and everything. I think you guys are getting closer to where you will be working for the Chargers organization. So you're going to be a consultant for the Chargers organization. Remember the small guys here, the little guys here.
Yeah, we're going to be telling Tom Telesco which players are the hottest in the draft.
Well, that works perfectly. Yeah. That guy's cute. Draft him.
This
Yeah.
guy's got the tightest
We'll have
end.
some kind of
Get him on the
scale to
team.
figure it out. This guy's the most attractive.
Oh
awesome.
my gosh, that's amazing. That's
That's
amazing. I love it.
All
All right.
right.
Well, so let me wrap up some of my thoughts. Look, I will say this: it's great to see the moves that these players did. Allen, Williams, Bosa, Mack restructure their contracts so we can actually be a team that competes. I think it says a lot about the players' investment in this coaching staff, right? And if anybody's critical of Brandon Staley, I think that is a great example of these players believing in being here in LA and building an organization. I love that, right? So to me, that says a lot about the organization, says a lot about our leadership. So I'm just excited for the next season. So
Yep, I agree.
that's my final thoughts.
Yeah, my final thoughts is tomorrow, free agency starts.
15th.
15th. So they can start talking about contracts, who's going to sign where and everything too. It's going to be a big day. Monday is going to be an interesting one for us. It's going to be interesting to see if we even have contracts in place for some guys too. Like what if we end up having a contract already in place for Bobby Wagner tomorrow? Hey, that'll be a fun Monday. I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah, that's a great Monday. You know, Mondays are always terrible, but that'll be a good thing to wake up to. But I'm excited to see what happens and what other moves we do make, because I do think that there's going to be some cuts still. I think we are going to get a couple of free agents out there. I would like to see Drew Tranquil back if we don't obviously get Bobby Wagner. I would like to see Trey Pipkins back, but we'll see how this week kind of boils down for us. But I'm excited to see where this goes. And then right after that, it's all draft talk from that point on. So, so that's kind of my final thoughts. And I do think that these coaching staff changes, I throw that out there too. I think it's been really, really good for us. I think Staley has his staff now, and I think he really has the guys he wants in place. And I know Brisket Broads have been kind of a big supporter of the Lombardi. I think Kellen Moore is going to show us a new level, and it's going to be great. It's going to be.
We're not. Yeah, I mean, because Joe Lombardi was on our team. We knew like his style of offense obviously was different than what Staley wanted initially. But but we think that a lot of we were top 4 offense, right? His first year with us. So that whole there were so many reasons why we weren't able to make things happen this past season. And I think a lot of people just shoved it all on Lombardi like it was his fault. But true. Mary has a coworker who's a Broncos fan.
Oh, he's so excited for Lombardi.
Yeah.
His big critique of his offense. He's like, we throw way too many long passes. Like we need to go for shorter passes. We need to get yards every play.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson is horrible.
Yeah.
But we're really excited for Kellen Moore. We think because the age thing too, there probably had to be some dynamic that was sometimes awkward with Brandon Staley. Lombardi was his coach in the past, so maybe sometimes he didn't feel like he had the freedom to be like, hey, we don't like that. You need to change that. So I think the whole dynamic will probably be better with Kellen Moore.
Yeah, I think so.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Kyle, final thoughts.
Yeah. So, I mean, this last week, restructuring all 4 of those players' contracts was huge. We got ourselves into a good position ahead of the free agency. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we got going on here. And and I just actually kind of was browsing around Twitter for a second, and I think Brandon Fajoko is about to get paid by us too.
We need him.
He said all his tweet was just, "Oh my God," that was it. So I don't know. I mean, just throwing it out there. Hopefully it's a good one that we actually locked him in for something, because I really like him. I want to get him on our show one of these days. That'd be amazing. But yeah, so it also could have been about food. So I mean, he tweets about food a lot of times too. So.
Hey, Khalil Mack's going to be here too, so maybe he'll still have those defensive dinners once again every Friday night.
Yes,
he's like, "Well, stick around for that Kobe beef, dude."
Well, maybe that's part of it too. Talking about the SoFi Stadium, and apparently the players were getting terrible food as well. And so maybe that's just it. The players have to kind of support each other that way. So but I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen, because this free agency is going to be interesting still, because obviously what happens here is what's going to really determine what we do in the draft. And so that's what I'm really curious to look forward to. I might actually wake up at like 6 a.m. tomorrow just to be like, okay, what's the news? Give me some news here. Come on now. Yeah, you know,
like Christmas.
It's kind of like Christmas. Yeah,
opening presents, love it.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, so but I'm excited. As always, we got to support our Bolts, and I'm counting down the days to Thunder Alley meetups again.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And you will see the Brisket Broads there, celebrities
sure
and
will,
all,
man.
taking multiple photos after photos after photos.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's like, I mean, I'm sure they get stopped a lot too. Like the last game that I was there, like I was just trying to walk up. It took me like 2 hours to get from one side of the Thunder Alley to the other side. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is wild.
I know, you just meet more and more people. So then it's like you got to get to Thunder Alley earlier and earlier so you can say hi to everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And eat more and more tacos as well too.
But you know what though? I think one of these days, I think all of us need to just make our own spot at Thunder Alley. Just get that set up, you know?
We should.
That'd be really good. Yeah.
Little
We got one of those blowing arm things.
Yes. Yeah. Instead of a flag, we get the waving, flailing, inflatable arm mans. Yes.
Yeah. I feel like that would represent us best.
That'd be perfect. Yes.
There's the Brisket Broad. We can see him with the inflatable guy.
Yeah. That way it works as a warning too for those people that are like, I don't know about them. Then they like, avoid that.
Stay away.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
That'd be so good.
That would be awesome. I can't wait for the season. It's going to be a good time, man. This is going to be a fun season all around. It's going to be awesome to see what the Brisket Broads do for 2023 and all their traveling stories, which
we're going to try to go to as many games as we can. We're going to see.
Fantastic.
Let's do it.
Well, and final thoughts, Brisket Broads. What do you guys think?
Final thought, Mary?
It's a great day to be a Chargers fan, and how lucky are we that we get to watch Justin play and not Derek Carr or Daniel Jones. Yeah.
Oh, Danny Dimes.
Fantastic.
I love it.
My final thought is we're going in the Super Bowl this year.
Let's go.
Let's go.
You know, it's funny about that. I had a dream last night that we were in the Super Bowl, but it was really weird because the Chargers' success dictated on me selling this deal at work that like created touchdowns for them. And it was the weirdest dream. And we played against the Eagles. And I remember the Eagles were up like, it was like a really weird score, like 9-7 or something like that. And I was like, I got to get them a touchdown. I got to sell this deal. I got to sell it. And I woke up before I sold my deal. So I don't know if we won.
What's going to happen?
It just shows that all of us have our part to play. We're all an important piece.
We do influence the performance of the players on the field. So yes.
Apparently James has to be a better salesperson. Huh?
I know. I need to close that thing out. I need to lock that thing up earlier.
Yeah, come on.
You need further training. You need further training, James.
Oh, I'm blowing it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, guys, who's going to hit the button to end the stream? I know my voice is about
Not
dead
me.
at this point.
Not me.
Kyle, you want to do the honors?
Yeah, I'll do it again. I'll do it right this time. So
all right, let's get it. Let's get it.
All right.
All right,
Bolt
guys.
Bros.
Bolt Bros. Let's go.
Get out of here.